Okay, so I just listened to a couple of YouTubers provide their feedback and input about the Ben Affleck story that came out this week, in which he spoke of his divorce from Jennifer Garner and his experience of feeling, quote, trapped in his marriage, which, apparently may have contributed to his alcoholism. Based on his words. And I'm paraphrasing this based on an interview that he did with Howard Stern. And so there's been a lot of backlash, apparently, based on those remarks, opinions about him, I guess, with his words, perhaps coming off as blaming Jennifer Gardner on some levels of his feeling trapped. Um, which I think is a stretch and a reach. I think if people kind of dial it back and listen to what he is saying, there are little golden nuggets to take away. Not every person who finds themselves in a situation such as his has the to just walk away. And the fact that they had three kids, right? These are three kids, not one kid, not two kids, but three kids, that he was weighing his options of walking away. If you look at his own family history, allegedly based on reports online. His father was an alcoholic. His own parents were divorced. I think around the time he was age 11. So he may have been battling some of his own internal demons about whether or not to walk away from that relationship. I think those inner demons have absolutely nothing to do with Jennifer Gardner. It's his own stuff, right? That he had to figure out as to whether or not it was something that he could do knowing that there was going to be this potential impact to the kids. And I think, there comes that point where you have to decide what's best for the kids. Is it best for you to stay in this relationship where they have to witness this dysfunctional level of communication between mommy and daddy or lack thereof? Do you just try to ride it out to the end? Or do you make the hard decision and walk away? And getting to that final decision, people cope in the way that they cope. Coping mechanisms are real. Some of us eat to get through difficult times. Some of us go hardcore and we become workout fanatics, right? Some people run marathons. I'm not saying that people who run marathons have issues, but you get the point, right? Some people go all in as it relates to how it is they decide to cope with a situation. And then there are those who turn to drugs and alcohol. To navigate that space. And so for him, he said that he likely would still be drinking if he were married. And that's a result of how he would have been coping with being in this place that he no longer wanted to be. Um, I, I think to me, it's a takeaway. It's a lesson learned for people who maybe in dealing with the same type of situation and what they should maybe consider doing, right? Now, should he have aired it? I don't know. I have no issues with him airing it. Hopefully, as long as Jennifer Gardner has no issues with him airing it, I would hope that she didn't receive it the same way. I think there were some comments about him potentially uh, maybe speaking for her and not, us as the public not really knowing how she feels. And that would be interesting to hear from her perspective. But, he portrayed it as a situation where, yes, they had an amicable divorce, but they also had some challenges in getting to that divorce, and he acknowledged that. So I think I don't know. I guess for me, I don't know what the big to do is about Ben Affleck and what he had to say about that relationship. To me, it's a lesson learned, right? For people who may be dealing with the same situation, may not be even marriage related, right? It could be any type of relationship that they're in, whether it's a child parent relationship, as we get older and our parents age. I think sometimes those dysfunctional relationships can boil to the surface. It could be between two friends that maybe who have been friends for a long time, and there's a degree of dysfunction in which people just don't know how to walk away. And my favorite go-to is the workplace. How many of us stay entrapped in a workplace environment that we hate? And the way we go about coping with it is not always the best, right? So I think that I don't know that he was blaming her per se for his decisions for how he navigated that space at that time. It was more of his own stuff of, this is what I did and this is what I likely would still be doing had I not left that relationship because we had grown apart and I didn't understand or know the best way to get out of that. The easy answer to some might have been to walk away, but for him, that was not necessarily the easy answer. And I would just go back to saying probably had a lot to do with his own upbringing. Okay, folks, that's it for this episode of Buzzworthy Chit Chat with your girl, Lexi Mahari. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified the next time I post a video. Stay safe.